Hello, it is 8 a.m. local time and you're tuning into VTV News. Here are the headlines at this hour. Vietnam Minister of Public Security holds phone talks with Chinese counterpart. Coast Guard ship 4032 swiftly repaired to carry on duty at EC. And later on, it's off to a film fest that offers a cinematic journey around Europe. We'll now begin with the top news happening here in the country. On May 17th, President Chiang Kai-shek made a fact-finding tour of foreign invested firms in the southern province of Binh, where workers were recently incited to violence, triggering social disorder and damage to investors' assets.
During a working session with provincial authorities, President Sang reaffirmed the country's consistent policy of acknowledging foreign investment as an inseparable part of the national economy. He regretted that the incident caused losses to both investors and workers, and that it damaged not only the economy but also businesses' trust. President Sang also visited the Vietnam-Singapore Industrial Park No. 1, where production was interrupted due to the recent unruly incident. Meeting workers at their workshop, the president stated that patriotism should be shown by raising productivity and joining hands with the party and the state in strengthening the national economy.
Prime Minister Nguyễn Tấn Dũng issued a directive on May 17th, urging ministries and localities nationwide to reinforce social security and order. Accordingly, the Prime Minister asked for a concerted effort to resolutely put an end to illegal protests and stringently deal with those who incite the crowd to violence. Now, ministries and localities should advise the public, he says, not to participate in illegal demonstrations and should lend a helping hand in the maintenance of social order and safety by carrying out practical deeds to safeguard the nation's sacred sovereignty. He said the Vietnamese government and localities, as well as local authorities, are determined to take all necessary measures in accordance with the law and the country's international commitments to ensure absolute safety and security for foreign agencies, businesses, and people in Vietnam. Along these same news line, General Trần Đại Quang, a Vietnamese Minister of Public Security, held a telephone conversation with his Chinese counterpart, Khoan, on Saturday. During the conversation, Minister Trần Đại Quang informed the Chinese minister about the recent incidents of public disorder in some localities in Vietnam. He said the protests were brought about by the public tension in response to China's unlawful installation of the Hải Dương 981 oil rig in Vietnamese waters. Law enforcement agencies have tried their best in order to control the situation, and the government also called for a quick resumption of work in these areas. General Trần Đại Quang stressed that Vietnam has always tried its hardest to provide the best conditions for all foreign direct investment enterprises to operate in Vietnam, as well as Chinese companies and citizens. Chinese Minister Khoan, on his part, said he hoped Vietnam would make every effort in order to ensure the safety of all Chinese in Vietnam. The two ministers called for all Chinese in Vietnam to stay calm and resume their work as normal. Similarly, all Vietnamese citizens living in China were encouraged to do the same. Minister Trần Đại Quang requested that China remove the Hải Dương oil rig as soon as possible and leave Vietnamese waters. He also asked that both sides meet soon afterwards in order to settle the dispute. The Vietnamese government and local authorities will stand firm to ensure that robbery and vandalism of foreign companies does not happen again. The statement was released by representatives of the Ministries of Public Security, Foreign Affairs, and Planning and Investment at an international press conference held in Hanoi on Saturday afternoon.
Đặng Minh Khôi, assistant to the Minister of Foreign Affairs, said the majority of people who marched in protest against China's unlawful installation of an oil rig in Vietnam's water were expressing their patriotism peacefully. However, in Bình Dương, Đồng Nai and Hà Tĩnh, a small number of troublesome individuals invoked workers to sabotage facilities and threaten foreigners' safety. Lieutenant General Hoàng Công Tư, head of Security Inspectorate of the Ministry of Public Security, said the ministry has filed lawsuits in relation to these incidents and has arrested hundreds of people. Unfortunately, the incident in Hà Tĩnh resulted in injury and the loss of life.
Theo con số đến giờ này của chúng tôi là có 2 người.
We filmed for foreign investors. 2 Chinese were killed and 140 were wounded. The ministers and officials of public security have been directed to minimize the damages, and the wounded have been intensively cared for. We will investigate the situation and file criminal proceedings against the 300-plus individuals for crimes of sabotage and public disorder in accordance with the law.
The Ministry of Foreign Affairs also affirmed that the Vietnamese government never supported such lawless activities and has officially notified other countries of the situation. The government will apply every mechanism necessary to protect the assets and well-being of foreigners in Vietnam. Thankfully, the situation is now under control and most enterprises have resumed operations.
The Vietnamese government and people are ready to protect our sovereignty, and we request that China remove its oil rig. At the same time, the government will try its hardest to ensure safety and order and determine not to let similar incidents happen again. We suggest foreign enterprises continue operations, and necessary policies will be provided to support them.
Lieutenant General Hoàng Công Tư also asserted that the Vietnamese government completely resolved the situation and swiftly carried out mechanisms which have re-established security.
Our forces will carry out the directives of the Prime Minister and the Minister of Public Security to ensure similar incidents won't happen again, so foreign enterprises can operate safely in Vietnam.
On behalf of the Vietnamese government, ministerial representatives expressed their deepest regrets for what happened.
Taiwanese investors have been badly affected by the recent riots. They have been misunderstood, and they suffered serious damages. We'd like to share the burden of this loss with investors.
Regarding recent activities where China has unlawfully installed its oil rig, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs said Vietnam has made contact with Chinese officials and requested they withdraw their armed ship from Vietnam's sovereign waters. Vietnam's Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs Ho Xuân Sơn traveled to Beijing recently to express Vietnam's viewpoint and the country's determination on this issue. However, to date, China has continued to refuse Vietnam's request, and so Vietnam must continue to defend its sovereignty by peaceful means.
And now in the following, here are some updates on the situation near the Hải Dương Shiyou 981 oil rig. At 6:30 p.m. on Friday, Vietnam Fishery Control Ship 774 was openly rammed into on its port side by Chinese ship 46101. Now early on Saturday morning, when the Vietnamese Coast Guard were 12 nautical miles west of Hải Dương Shiyou 981, they spotted 2 Chinese ships, Chinese armed ships that is, and one of these 2 Chinese armed ships was escort missile ship 755, which sailed within a distance of 1,500 meters of Vietnamese ship 8003. Meanwhile, at 7.5 nautical miles from the oil rig Hải Dương Shiyou 981, the Vietnamese Coast Guard spotted Chinese ship 3210, which was a part of the ship formation that threatened and blocked Vietnamese ship 8003. Ironically, 1 month ago, this ship was in the same scouting formation with the Vietnamese Coast Guard ship 8003 on the Gulf of Tonkin. On Saturday, the Vietnamese Coast Guard also spotted a straight-wing Chinese scout plane with an unknown number 500 meters to the east of the Vietnamese Coast Guard ship formation. The illegal installation of the Chinese oil rig Hải Dương 981 in Vietnam's exclusive economic zone is facing objection from the international community. On Friday, White House Press Secretary Jay Carney, in his press briefing, once again raised concerns about the tensions in the EC.
First of all, we're closely following out of our mission to Vietnam the protests in Vietnam around this issue. But regarding the broader issue of China's unilateral decision to introduce an oil rig accompanied by numerous government vessels for the first time in waters disputed with Vietnam, we would say what we have said repeatedly, which is this is a provocative act, and it raises tensions in the region, and by raising tensions, makes it more difficult to resolve claims over disputed territory in a manner that that supports peace and stability in the region. The United States does not take a position on these competing sovereignty claims, but we do take a position on the conduct of the claimants, who must resolve their disputes peacefully, without intimidation, without coercion, and in accordance with international law. And he would expect people.
On May 16th, Vietnamese Coast Guard ship 4032 returned to port in Da Nang City. This ship has been carrying out law enforcement duties since May 2nd, when China first unlawfully installed the oil rig Hải Dương 981 in Vietnam's exclusive economic zone and continental shelf. The ship has come back to the mainland for repairs, which will be conducted as quickly as possible so that the ship can resume its duties at the sea.
The broken balcony has been rewelded to ensure safety for sailors while the ship is at sea. As well as the balcony, the ventilation system, venting latch, and the mist spraying system were also damaged by Chinese ships and have now been repaired.
We repaired the starboard and port side balcony of the ship. We worked at night as well to make sure everything is done as soon as possible and at highest quality so the ship can depart again. At present, 90% of the repairs have been done, and by 1400 hours today, we will be finished and ready for assignment from High Command.
On the morning of May the 13th, the Vietnamese ship 4032 approached the Hải Dương 981 to broadcast messages of Vietnam's sovereignty and to request that China leave Vietnamese waters. When ship 4032 was 5 nautical miles from the oil rig, a Chinese ship came alongside it and then sped up to ram the Vietnamese vessel. The collision broke the left balcony and damaged several pieces of equipment on board. Still, ship 4032 stayed on duty around the Paracel Islands and continued to carry out its duty by peaceful means.
While on duty, we stay on guard and keep updated on the situation regarding foreign ships. We always try to use evasive actions and high speed to avoid collisions and minimize human and vessel damage.
Having stayed at sea for many days and with several pieces of equipment on board out of order, ship 4032 received orders to dock for repairs. Immediately after the maintenance work is completed, the ship will depart again to carry out its duties on Vietnam's waters.
Chinese community members of the Gan City Friendship Organization Association have expressed their opposition to China's illegal installation of an oil rig within Vietnamese waters. Now, the meeting, which was held on Saturday, provided updates on the EC situation, as well as presented historic evidence about Vietnam's sovereignty over the Paracel and Spratly archipelagos. During the meeting, representatives of the Chinese community in Gan stated their objection to China's unlawful deployment of the drilling oil rig within Vietnam's exclusive economic zone and continental shelf. Participants all agreed on a peaceful resolution of the dispute based on the long-standing ties between the two countries. At present, over 20,000 Chinese people live in Gan City and regard Vietnam as their second home. Many outstanding young Vietnamese have come to Tho Chu Island, which is 120 kilometers off the coast of Giang province, to attend a groundbreaking ceremony for the construction of a new national flagpole. The flagpole is being built by the Vietnamese Student Development and Support Center and the Vietnamese Students Association. Once completed, that is, it will stand as a monument affirming Vietnam's sovereignty over its islands.
Despite a long, tiring journey, the students arrived at the island filled with enthusiasm for the flagpole construction ceremony they were about to attend. The flagpole itself is being built on a strategic location, both geographically and military-wise, where the view stretches over the whole island.
This flagpole is a symbol of our nation's sovereignty. Foreigners in Vietnam and international ships will see it and recognize the nation's sovereignty here.
The first flagpole by the Vietnam Students Association was built in Lý Sơn Island in Quảng Ngãi province last year. The new flagpole, which will be 20 meters high, comes with a price tag of $47,000. It will bear an inscription stating the name of the island and will have administrative boundary markers to uphold the sovereignty of Vietnam. The 900-plus students here who came for this ceremony may be far from the mainland, but it is clear to them that everything here is a part of their Vietnamese homeland.
The lives of people here are just like in the mainland, and now I feel like this island belongs to Vietnam.
Tho Chu flagpole will be completed before the 9th of January 2015 to mark the celebration of Vietnamese Students' Day.
After this trip, the students will have a real experience to tell their friends. We hope that after these 1,000 students have visited, thousands of other students will come here and get a better awareness of their responsibility towards their country.
For the guards here, the island and the sea are as much their home as the mainland of Vietnam. And now that the young people have visited this place, they can feel it too.
Coming up here in our live edition of VTV News, State Bank of Vietnam ensures stable forex market amid the tension in the EC. And later on, it's off to a film festival that offers a cinematic journey around Europe. Do stay tuned.
Exotic Vietnam is an intriguing blend of many charms. This land is where all manner of stunning landscapes await like a visual feast, rivaled only by the beauty of its people and their abundantly rich tradition and culture. Here is where you can relive the past in richest color or live it up in the bright lights of the big city. With so much more to offer, Vietnam is simply unforgettable.
You're tuning into VTV News Live. According to the State Bank of Vietnam, the forex and gold markets remain stable despite tensions in the EC. Now, moreover, banking activities are also normal and safe with smooth international transactions, it is reported. The State Bank of Vietnam is currently monitoring and supervising all financial activities to ensure stable forex and gold markets, as well as maintaining high security for credit institutions and foreign branches branches in Vietnam. The State Bank of Vietnam also warned citizens not to listen to speculative rumors, which might influence their investment decisions and needlessly cause financial damage. Vietnam's 15th annual European Film Festival officially kicked off in Hanoi on Friday. This year's lineup will give film lovers the chance to embark on a cinematic journey around Europe. This festival is part of a broader series of cultural events celebrating Europe Day, which was on May the 9th.
The festival showcases Europe's diversity and rich cinema tradition, portrayed in 14 films from 14 different EU member countries. Viewers will be spoiled for choice with genres ranging from drama, thriller, comedy to documentary and animated films. An acclaimed film in the lineup is Searching for Sugarman, a documentary by Swedish director Malik Bendjelloul, which won the 2013 Academy Award for Best Documentary.
In fact, EU and Vietnam are very, very close politically and as trading partners, and now we also want to bring Europe and Vietnam very close culturally. So we're very happy to be able to show movies from a number of countries in the European Union.
The festival brings new and captivating aspects of European culture by showcasing films that would otherwise not be shown in Vietnamese commercial cinemas. The event draws audiences of all ages as well as Vietnamese actors and filmmakers. I'm looking forward to not just one particular movie, but every single movie at this year's film festival. As an actress, I hope to maybe learn something from the acting skills and stories in the movies.
The idea is very simple. That is to bring Europe closer to Vietnam and to get the people in Europe closer to the people in Vietnam. And we do that by making a better understanding of the cultural developments in Europe. And there, of course, films, movies is a key part of that expression. And it's the 15th time we are having it, and it's, I think, the biggest ever.
This year, the festival will run from May the 16th to May the 31st in 3 major cities, Hanoi, Da Nang and Ho Chi Minh City. The organizers hope that even though each film showcase at this festival may belong to a specific country, together they would be able to reflect the EU's motto of being united in diversity.
In the following, we'll take a look at the major news that made headlines over the past week.
According to the Vietnam Fishery Control Department, this week China continued to deploy dozens of vessels, including Coast Guard and patrol boats, tugs, warships, fishing vessels, as well as different aircraft to protect the illegal oil rig Hai Yang Sheo 981, which lies in Vietnam's exclusive economic zone and continental shelf. By creating a layered barrier, they blocked Vietnamese law enforcement ships from carrying out duties in Vietnam's waters. Even though on several occasions Chinese ships used water cannons or intentionally rammed into Vietnamese vessels to threaten or cause damage, the Vietnamese law enforcement force strictly used peaceful measures to affirm its sovereignty. China's illegal activities in the East Sea have been met with disapproval by organizations and individuals in Vietnam, as well as the international community. On Friday, General Martin Dempsey, chairman of the U.S. Joint Chief of Staff, said that the United States was seriously concerned about China's unilateral actions and called for resolution via diplomatic dialogue based on international law. Earlier this week, the European Union and ASEAN also released statements on the East Sea issue, stressing the need for peaceful measures.
The National Assembly's Standing Committee convened its 28th meeting in Hanoi this week to prepare for the upcoming session of the 13th National Assembly.
The committee members commented on the government's supplementary report, which concerns the implementation of the 2013 Socio-Economic Development and State Budget Plans. They also reviewed the country's performance since the beginning of 2014. Regarding the law-building work, they gave opinions to the National Assembly Organization Law, the Vietnam Nationality Law, and the Pharmacy Law.
This week, Myanmar Minister of Industry U Myong-mint met with Vietnamese investors looking to invest in Myanmar as part of his working visit to Vietnam. At the meeting, Vietnamese businesses asked Myanmar to issue a new investment guideline so investors can get easier access to the Myanmar market. For his part, the Myanmar minister affirmed that the country will continue to create favorable conditions for Vietnamese investors in the coming time. Also this week, the Vietnam Chamber of Commerce and Industry and the Confederation of Industry of the Czech Republic held a business forum in Hanoi. The event was attended by the Czech Minister of Industry and Trade, Giàn, and the representatives from 20 companies. The Czech minister confirmed that Vietnam is a priority trade partner and that there are ample opportunities for cooperation in various sectors.
Vietnamese Prime Minister has signed a decision to establish the Price Management Steering Committee, headed by Deputy Prime Minister Vũ Văn Ninh. The steering committee will help the Prime Minister to develop guidelines and make decisions regarding price management while giving directions to municipal and provincial agencies to solve problems related to prices of essential goods in order to control inflation and stabilize the macroeconomy.
A collection of documents from the Nguyen dynasty was officially recognized as a heritage artifact by UNESCO's Memory of the World Committee for Asia-Pacific, or MAOCAP. The announcement was made on Wednesday at the ongoing second session of the 6th General Meeting of the Memory of the World Committee for Asia-Pacific in Guangzhou, China. With notable value in content, appearance and style, the Nguyen dynasty document was unanimously upheld by the judges. Following this recognition, the historic value of Nguyen dynasty's documents will get to many more people.
In the following, we'll take a look at your updated weather forecasts. And that wraps up this edition of VTV News. We'll be back again at 3 p.m. local time today for another updated bulletin. In the meantime, do log on to vtv4.vn for more updated news. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you more in a bit.